Be me, 25, in a 3-year relationship with my girlfriend, Emily. We've been having some issues lately, mostly due to my own insecurities and lack of communication. I've been feeling stuck and unsure if I'm ready for the long-term commitment Emily deserves. We had a big fight last night, and I said some things I regret. In the heat of the moment, I told her I thought it was over between us. Emily, understandably, was devastated. She cried and begged me to reconsider, but I just stood there, frozen and unsure of what to say. Eventually, she stormed out of the apartment, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I'm sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the wall as the weight of what I just did starts to sink in. What have I done? I think to myself, feeling a knot in my stomach. I try to replay the argument in my head, wondering how things escalated so quickly. But all I can think about is the look on Emily's face when I told her it was over. It was a mix of shock, sadness, and betrayal, and it's haunting me. I try to stand up, but my legs feel like lead, and I collapse back onto the couch. My mind starts racing with all the what-ifs and maybes. What if I made a huge mistake? Maybe I was just having a bad day, and I shouldn't have taken it out on Emily. Maybe I'm just not ready for a relationship, and I should have been honest with her from the start. Just as I'm starting to spiral into a pit of self-doubt, my phone buzzes with a text from Emily. I need some space, but we need to talk about this in person. Can we meet up tomorrow? The text reads. I feel a wave of relief wash over me, knowing that Emily is willing to talk things through. But at the same time, I'm terrified of what that conversation might bring. Do I try to apologize and make amends, or do I stick to my guns and convince myself that I made the right decision? I take a deep breath and try to calm myself down, knowing that I have a long night of introspection ahead of me. Yeah, tomorrow works, I reply, trying to sound calm and collected. But as I hit send, I'm met with an eerie silence, and I'm left to face my thoughts alone once again. As I sat in the darkness of my room, the only sound being the hum of my computer and the occasional creak of the old house, I couldn't help but feel like I was staring into the abyss. The silence after Emily's text was deafening, and I found myself wondering if I had made a mistake by agreeing to meet up. What if she just wanted to yell at me in person? What if she was going to break up with me for good? I stood up and began pacing around my room, trying to shake off the feeling of unease that had settled in the pit of my stomach. Okay, think this through, I told myself, trying to sound rational. You're going to meet up with Emily, and you're going to apologize. You're going to explain that you were having a bad day, and that you didn't mean to take it out on her. But as I practiced my apology in my head, I couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't going to be enough. I stopped pacing and looked around my room, feeling a sense of desperation wash over me. I needed to talk to someone, to get some perspective on the situation. But who could I turn to? My friends would just tell me to man up and fix things with Emily, but I knew it wasn't that simple. I needed someone who would listen to me, who would understand my side of the story. Just as I was starting to feel like I was going to lose my mind, I heard a knock at the door. It was my sister, Rachel. Hey, I saw your light on and I thought I'd come check in, she said, poking her head into my room. What's going on? You look like you've lost your last friend. I sighed and flopped down onto my bed, running my hands through my hair. It's just Emily, I said, feeling a lump form in my throat. I think I messed things up with her, and I don't know how to fix it. Rachel came into the room and sat down beside me, putting a hand on my back. What happened? She asked, her voice soft and concerned. I took a deep breath and launched into the story, telling Rachel about our fight and how I had lashed out at Emily. As I talked, I could feel the emotions rising up inside of me again, and I had to fight to keep from breaking down. When I finished, Rachel was quiet for a moment, collecting her thoughts. Well, first of all, you need to apologize, she said finally. But not just for what you said, for how you made her feel. You need to acknowledge that your actions were hurtful, and that you're committed to making things right. I nodded, feeling a sense of determination rise up inside of me. You're right, I said. I need to make things right. But what if it's too late? What if she's already made up her mind to leave me? Rachel smiled and put her arm around me. Then you'll just have to convince her otherwise, she said. But either way, you need to be honest with yourself and with Emily. You need to figure out what you want, and what you're willing to do to make it work. I nodded, feeling a sense of resolve wash over me. I was going to meet up with Emily tomorrow, and I was going to be honest with her. I was going to apologize, and I was going to do my best to make things right. And if it wasn't enough, then at least I would know that I had tried. As I walked into the coffee shop the next day, I couldn't help but feel a sense of nervousness wash over me. I had been thinking about my conversation with Rachel non-stop, and I knew that I had to make things right with Emily. I spotted her sitting in the corner, sipping on a latte, and my heart skipped a beat. She looked beautiful, but also guarded, and I knew that I had my work cut out for me. I took a deep breath and made my way over to her, trying to gauge her mood. As I approached, she looked up and our eyes met, and for a moment, we just stared at each other. I could see the hurt and anger still lingering in her eyes, and I knew that I had to tread carefully. Hey, I said, trying to sound casual, as I sat down across from her. Thanks for meeting me. Emily nodded, but didn't say anything, and I could tell that she was waiting for me to make the first move. I took another deep breath and launched into my apology. Emily, I'm so sorry for what I said the other day, I said, trying to choose my words carefully. I was completely out of line, and I realize now that my words were not only hurtful, but also thoughtless. I can only imagine how you must have felt, and for that, I am truly sorry. I paused, studying her reaction, and was relieved to see a glimmer of emotion in her eyes. It was a small crack in the armor, but it was a start. I know that I've been struggling with my own issues lately, I continued, and that's no excuse for taking it out on you. But I want you to know that I'm committed to working through my problems, and to being a better partner to you. I love you, Emily, and I don't want to lose you. As I spoke, I could feel my heart pouring out of my chest, and I knew that I was being completely honest. I was scared, but I was also determined to make things right between us. Emily looked at me, her eyes searching mine, and for a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of hope. But then, her expression hardened, and she looked away. I appreciate your apology, she said, her voice cool and detached. But it's going to take a lot more than just words to fix things between us. You've been distant and preoccupied for weeks, and I feel like I'm just an afterthought to you. I need to know that you're committed to working through our issues together, and that you're willing to put in the effort to make our relationship a priority. I nodded, feeling a surge of determination rise up inside of me. I knew that I had a long road ahead of me, but I was willing to do whatever it took to make things right with Emily. I am committed, I said, my voice firm and resolute. I want to work through our issues together, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make our relationship a priority. I love you, Emily, and I don't want to lose you. Can we start by talking about what's been going on, and how we can work through it together? As I spoke, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, and I knew that I was taking a risk. But I also knew that it was a risk worth taking, because I couldn't imagine a future without Emily by my side. As I finished speaking, I looked into Emily's eyes, searching for a glimmer of hope. Her expression was still guarded, but I could see a faint spark of emotion flickering beneath the surface. She took a deep breath, and her voice was barely above a whisper as she responded. I want to believe you, she said, her words laced with a mix of longing and skepticism. I want to think that we can work through this, that we can come out stronger on the other side. But it's hard for me to trust you right now, when it feels like you've been so distant and disconnected from me. I felt a pang of guilt and regret at her words, knowing that I had hurt her deeply. I reached out and took her hand, my fingers intertwining with hers as I pulled her closer to me. I'm sorry, Emily, I said, my voice filled with emotion. I'm so sorry for pushing you away, for making you feel like you're not a priority to me. That's not true, and I know it. You are my priority, my everything. I've just been, lost, I guess, trying to navigate my own thoughts and feelings. But that's no excuse for neglecting you, for making you feel like you're not important to me. As I spoke, I could feel Emily's hand tensing in mine, her fingers tightening as she struggled to process her emotions. I knew that I had a long way to go to regain her trust, but I was willing to do whatever it took. What's been going on with you? She asked finally, her voice a little stronger now. What's been eating at you all these weeks? I took a deep breath, knowing that this was a conversation we needed to have. I couldn't keep my thoughts and feelings bottled up inside me anymore, not if I wanted to move forward with Emily. It's just, work, I guess, I started, trying to put my thoughts into words. And stress, and feeling overwhelmed. I've been feeling like I'm failing, like I'm not living up to my own expectations. And I know that's not an excuse for pushing you away, but it's been hard for me to deal with, to know how to process it all. Emily's expression softened slightly as she listened to me, her eyes filled with a deep understanding. She squeezed my hand, her touch sending a surge of comfort through me. We can work through this together, she said, her voice filled with a newfound sense of determination. We can figure out how to deal with your stress and your feelings of inadequacy. But you have to be willing to open up to me, to let me in. Can you do that? I nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. I knew that I had a long road ahead of me, but with Emily by my side, I felt like I could face anything. I can do that, I said, my voice firm. I want to do that. I want to be open and honest with you, to share my thoughts and feelings with you. I want us to be able to work through this together, to come out stronger on the other side. As I finished speaking, Emily's face broke out into a small smile, and she leaned in close to me. Her lips brushed against mine, sending a spark of electricity through my body. I love you, she whispered, her breath warm against my skin. I love you too, I responded, my heart soaring with emotion. I always will. As we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt a sense of comfort wash over me. It was as if the weight of my worries and fears was slowly lifting, replaced by a sense of hope and renewal. Emily's eyes sparkled with tears as she gazed at me, her expression filled with a deep affection. I'm so proud of you, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. For being brave enough to face your fears, to admit that you need help. That takes a lot of courage, and I know it can't have been easy for you. I smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude towards her. It wasn't, I admitted. But I know that I can do it, as long as you're here with me. You make me feel like I can conquer anything, like I'm not alone in this. Emily's smile grew wider, and she leaned in to kiss me again. This time, it was a softer, sweeter kiss, one that filled me with a sense of peace and tranquility. As we pulled back, I couldn't help but think about how much she meant to me, about how much I needed her in my life. You're my rock, I said, my voice filled with emotion. My safe haven. Without you, I don't know where I'd be right now. Emily's eyes sparkled with tears again, and she wrapped her arms around me, holding me close. You'll never have to find out, she whispered. Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you, always. As I held her, I felt a sense of comfort and security that I'd never felt before. It was as if I'd finally found my place in the world, my sense of belonging. And it was all because of Emily, because of her love and support. I don't know what I did to deserve you, I said, my voice filled with wonder. Emily laughed, a soft, gentle sound. You don't have to deserve me, she said. You just have to be yourself, and I'll be here, loving you every step of the way. I smiled, feeling a sense of joy and contentment wash over me. I knew that I still had a long way to go, that I still had to work through my issues and come to terms with my past. But with Emily by my side, I felt like I could face anything, like I could overcome any obstacle. As we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. It was a sense of comfort that I'd never known before, a sense of being exactly where I was meant to be. And I knew that as long as Emily was with me, I'd always be able to find my way, no matter what challenges lay ahead. "I'm ready," I said, my voice firm. "I'm ready to face whatever comes next, as long as you're with me." Emily's smile grew wider, and she leaned in to kiss me again. "I'll always be with you," she whispered. "Forever and always." As we pulled back from the kiss, I gazed into Emily's eyes, feeling like I was drowning in their depths. The world around us melted away, leaving only the two of us, suspended in a sea of love and possibility. I thought about all the what-ifs, all the maybes, and all the uncertainties that lay ahead, but with Emily by my side, I felt like I could tackle anything. "You know, I never thought I'd find someone like you," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Someone who sees the real me, who loves me for who I am, flaws and all." Emily's expression turned soft, her eyes filled with a deep understanding. "You're not flawed," she said. "You're just complicated. And I love that about you. I love the way you think, the way you feel, the way you experience the world." I smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude wash over me. "You're pretty amazing yourself," I said. "You have this way of making me feel seen, of making me feel like I'm home." As we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I couldn't help but think about the journey that had brought us to this moment. The struggles, the heartaches, the doubts, they had all been worth it, because they had led me to Emily. And as I looked into her eyes, I knew that I would never let her go. "I'm so glad I found you," I said, my voice filled with emotion. Emily's smile grew wider, and she leaned in to kiss me again. "I'm glad I found you too," she whispered. "I feel like I've been searching for you my whole life." As our lips touched, I felt a sense of electricity run through my body. It was like the entire universe had come alive, and everything was vibrating at the same frequency. I closed my eyes, letting the sensation wash over me, and when I opened them again, I saw that Emily's eyes were closed too, a look of pure bliss on her face. In that moment, I knew that I would never be alone again. I had found my partner, my best friend, my soulmate. And as we sat there, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. "Forever and always," I whispered, echoing Emily's words from earlier. She smiled, her eyes still closed, and nodded. "Forever and always," she whispered back. As we sat there, basking in the warmth of our love, I knew that nothing could ever break us apart. We were two souls, meant to be together, and nothing, not time, not space, not circumstance, could ever change that. And with that thought, I felt a sense of peace settle over me, a sense of knowing that I was exactly where I was meant to be, with the person I was meant to be with.